I got both my earplugs in, and for some reason, it's super loud in my left ear and super not loud in my right ear. So I'm gonna call for a mic check, and I'll adjust y'all accordingly. So, with a mic check, can we start with? Can we start with me? Oh, what the fuck is happening? My buttons are fucked.
Yeah, you're dropping off hard.
Dropping off hard. Okay. It seems to be because I'm changing windows. Holding down the button seems fine. Okay. Goodness gracious. Mish, can I have a mic check?
Ahoy.
You sound alright. Cece?
Character sheet's gone.
Hello.
Hello. Mish, you said your character sheet is gone?
I forgot. I got it.
Okay. Heather.
Hello.
Alright, let me turn you up a little bit. Alicia.
Hello.
Gotta turn you way up. Oh, I gotta turn everybody up. One moment. Rather, I have to turn everyone down. Dawn.
So I had to look up how to open the Selenade chest. That was fun, but now I know how interactable things work.
Now you know how interactables work, and knowing is half the battle, G.I. Joe. And finally, Sam.
I don't need to make a penis to work. Well, maybe I'll do that later.
I don't need to make a penis to fuck up your day, sir. Okay, so, my day has been spoiled, again, by Robot Penis. Welcome all, and hello.
How many times can it happen? As many times as we make it.
As many times as, yeah, you know, you have this power, you can choose to inflict it if you want. Is there an upper limit? I don't know, fuck around. If you have recording software that you want to use to record game, please engage that software.
I believe someone needs to be streaming in order for Heather to stay connected.
No, I tested it and it seems to be working okay, but I'm keeping an eye on it just in case.
That is the weirdest fucking bug. That's
Well,
such a weird bug.
It seems like the bug has resolved itself, so...
Hell yes.
We'll see. Knock on particle board.
Mark Lark. Oh man, I'm already having spoonerisms. We're fucked. We're so fucked. Oh, at least my maps are pretty. God damn. Yeah, so if you, Mish, I know you sometimes record, and Heather, I know you sometimes record.
Oh, I've been recording. I even got the robot penis part, so...
Oh, fantastic! I can't even tell that Robot Penis has been immortalized. Fantastic.
It wasn't on my recording until that was brought up again.
Well, you know, we have to be, if nothing else, consistent. Alright, let me loop this around my fat wrist, because I'm so fucking fat now. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. We're fine. Welcome,
How are
everybody.
you?
We sure are fine, rar.
There's a lot to unpack there. We'll get back to that after game. Good evening. Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Friday Night Cannons, Loose Cannons. Shadows over Mobius. The Loose Cannons that is the actual name. But currently we find ourselves in the court of the Pumpkin King. The maybe final chapter of this arc. We'll see. Fuck around, find out. This is the part where I would normally ask the party if they would like to recap the events from the previous session. I'm not going to deviate that, so I will ask the party if anyone would like to recap the previous session. Full recaps are not required. You can just throw out shit that you thought was cool. If you thought things were cool, I hope you thought things were cool.
I mean, we started with the big fight against the Mischief Makers. In which Bones learned charisma checks and persuasion checks have power.
Things mean things here sometimes.
We discovered that the mischief makers are kind of like they're koboloi that okay, here's my understanding of it, but I am more than happy to be corrected. These are koboloi that have been dusted or lost their body in some way, and the Pumpkin King gives them a new body in return for, favors.
Favors, servitude, occupation within his domain. The exact relationship is not fully understood, but you have the broad strokes of it. It is understood that the koboloi who do not have body, koboloi shades as we may call them, Jack does have the ability to provide them with some matter of corporeality that they can enjoy, so long as they are his subjects. It would also seem that their concept of right and wrong is a little less black and white.
More fluid.
A little more blue and red. But yes, at the beginning of last game, you confronted a number of mischief makers, discovered that they were carrying some of the items that you were in pursuit of. There was the Needle of Perfect Stitching, the Ember Heart Crucible, and Alicorn, your companion Raven's apparently legendary guitar. Remains to be seen if it is actually legendary or if it is just sentimental.
Those things are equally important.
Equally important. Sentimentality is as important as raw magic in this place, it would seem. As we learned, and we'll come back to that in just a moment, during our combat with these entities, some people launched right into fighting. Bones attempted to do some persuading and seemingly set some of these creatures at odds with their own directions, their own directives, and their own bodies, learning that indeed the power of persuasion holds some sway here. Following the retrieval of certain items, Roar was quick to toss those stolen things into the bag of holding for safekeeping, as well as to curry the favor of a couple of the mischief makers who currently are bounding and bouncing inside of his portable hole. One of which is in shade form. The others appear to have their pumpkin and fluffy bunny type bodies. Upon returning Alicorn to Raven, it appeared some kind of condition was met. The gift given, or the item returned, or the pact fulfilled produced some form of tangible magic in the form of a charm, which was given to Bones. A charm that was described as being capable of being passed around if need be. Some kind of potent fey magic resides within this tiny little blue bird enameled stone. Lending credence to the idea that things mean things, perhaps, maybe. Following combat and persuasion and chatting it up with these things, you met with, not Ciro. Ciro was the grumpy one. Cleus, one of the koboloi shades, informed you about the current comings and goings of the domain of Harrowed Hills. The domain where the Master of Ceremonies, Jack, the Pumpkin King, essentially had some problems and was doing some stuff. Led by your new ally, I guess, you were brought to the outer cities of Harrowed Hills, where you saw the various ruins and decrepitness of these stone and steel, maybe, cities, looking very much like castle towns, but crumbling and geometrically different in some small ways to the towns back home. You saw that a lot of it was in ruin, though it was not unoccupied. There were other creatures, shades, and whatnot lurking within, just somewhat out of sight, as you were led out of the city outskirts, or rather around the city outskirts, and toward a deep and gloomy forest. Upon some travel deeper therein, you came to a stop at a wide expanse decorated and inhabited by shades, decorated by various fluorescent mushrooms and candles and dead trees. What appears to be a court within the forest, along with a podium, a throne, and the Master of Ceremonies himself. You were introduced by Cleus, and the Master of Ceremonies informed the party that he had some inkling of who you all were. Before we jump into it, I would like to ask if there were any further events, notes, anything that really stood out from last game that you all enjoyed or stuck with you.
Karn's intrigued by these koboloi.
Karn is intrigued by the small magical folk.
Rua had a weird conversation that was really cool. And there was a lot of discussion around stuff and excitement around stuff, and Rua stayed out of Karn's shell for a while.
Rua did manifest at one point, and essentially learned that these creatures were her kin, though maybe some generations removed.
There was also talk about learning the Pumpkin King's magic, so maybe we can make Rua a body, even if only a temporary one.
If only a temporary one. She did have some reticence toward the idea of having a construct body, but the folks here seem to enjoy it.
I think she said it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing.
She misses her curves.
I mean, without... she did say it outright, so yeah. That's the take. That's the correct take. She used to be hot, and she's kind of mad that she's not anymore. Cool. Many other subjects were touched upon, but I think that does cover the broad strokes. So, to that end, does anyone object to us starting?
No, sir.
Nope.
Okay. One moment. Just scroll down to tonight's notes. So, you've all been brought to the court of the Pumpkin King, the Master of Ceremonies, an entity known to some as Jack, to others as, the aforementioned titles that have been mentioned. You find yourself surrounded by a rather, perhaps idiosyncratic scene. The forest appears gloomy, dying, and dead. The trees are almost entirely devoid of leaves. And yet, something of a canopy appears to be stretching above you. It is dark. It is foggy. The air smells of plant decay, moisture, all the trappings and tellings of a moist fall season. And yet, in the crevices and nooks and crannies of these trees, there is light, there are candles, there are illuminated mushrooms and baubles that seem to glow with an ethereal light. Shadows are perched within the entryways of these knotholes and trees. One moment. This is no time for shitposting. You see that there is indeed, I don't want to say witnesses, but there does appear to be an audience currently here. As you are brought forward, Cleos, the koboloi shade, who has been leading you and informing you of the comings and goings and trappings of this, not a town, it's more like a small country, introduces you to a gentleman who sits upon a faintly illuminated wooden throne, seated upon a broad stump. Various candles and flames are lit about this entity, a tall figure, spindly and lean, wearing somewhat outlandish-looking vest with tufted shoulder pads and a type of leather, perhaps, that seems to reflect various different colors as he shifts and turns. Upon your introduction, he takes a step up from his throne and stands to his full stature. It is a large creature, nearing 9, 10, maybe 11 feet tall, with a large carved pumpkin for a head. Though his eyes are somewhat menacing and his mouth jagged, his movements appear mirthful and jovial, almost bouncy. And as he speaks, you see flame exudes from his mouth, crackling, flickering, carried off by an unseen, unfelt wind. I do believe I know you. Yes, tale has come to my neck of the woods. Whatever would the Autumn Prince's change-bringers be doing in my humble little slice of the world? Come. He gestures with the long, spindly fingers, beckoning your party to come closer. Do tell me why you have come to seek an audience.
So all throughout, when they're entering, Raven himself being, I guess, a duke of a court or something, is showing proper reverence, quite unlike what he showed for the frog. The frog in a pond. Fuck that guy. So this
Prince
is
Harold, Lord Harold of Bogsley.
Yeah, that fucker. Yeah, no, this is a proper person to be reverent and respectful to. So he has taken off his hat and is holding it against his chest as he approaches.
Yeah, Bones is gonna step forward. Thank you for your kind welcome, Your Highness.
He looks you and Raven over, and although you can't see pupils in his eye sockets, there is this slight tilt of his head to the side, and just the very faintest, bow at the chest, as he courteously regards you in kind. His gaze turns to pass over to your companions, eyes lingering on Roar for a moment, seeing that there is one straggler behind.
Karn is kind of watching everyone around us and eyeing the big plushies that on either side of his throne dais.
You observe the larger creatures that are flanking him, and they do appear to be quite similar to the ones that you have encountered before. They are sturdily built, put together. They do appear to have some physical weight to them, and just with a cursory sensing of the air around you, there is a magical potency to them as well. You find that there are multiple smaller creatures that are almost stealthily arranged around the area. Some closer to you and some further up top upon the stumped podium dais, what you may call it. The Master of Ceremonies takes his gaze off of Roar, sweeps and looks across from person to person, and then looks toward Bones once more. And he seems to study you for a few moments, Bones. Yes. Yes, welcome. Welcome. I sense an air of magic about you. Of all of you, yes. But something more. It would seem you've run into my troopers.
Yes, we ran into them on the road. One or two were very helpful.
He looks you over, and again continues to study you, and then seems to look past you, around you. They are, if nothing else, interesting creatures. I sense them, but I do not see them.
Roar, would you be so kind as to... Bones thinks about the word for the moment. Invite your temporary guests out.
I pull out the cloth and unfold it in the portable hole. And I'll crouch down, since it's on the ground, and I'll lean in.
You can come out now.
And then I'll pull back up. And can I do an Arcana check on that bitch's clothes? Because they are fancy, and that's why he was hanging back. He's just like trying to figure out what the fuck it was.
Oh, yeah, you can roll an Arcana check. From this distance, results may vary. Let's see what you can roll. Let's see what you can get.
All right. I don't expect good results, but whatever that was.
That appears to be a 1.
Yeah, that seems about right.
That appears to be a 1, but I'm going to let you know. It's definitely magic. You just have no idea what it is.
Yep. No.
And as he watches you producing his minions from a hole out of nothing, he does seem to shift, placing one hand upon his hip, and you see his hand is resting very close to the pommel of a rapier. Not touching it, but as he moves and shifts, you do see that the coat that he wears seems to shift and shimmer, the colors changing. Ever so slightly, ever so subtly, as though to tease you, as though knowing that you have been stymied in some way.
We actually came to locate a lost item, or several lost items, most of which we found. We heard a rumor that one of the more important ones might be lost in your kingdom.
Bones, I recognize that you are carefully choosing your words.
Yes.
I would like you to roll either persuasion or deception as you choose your words carefully. You may take advantage on this.
I'm going with persuasion, because nothing she said is a lie.
Go for it.
Natural 20 for a total of 27.
One in the pool. One in the pool. Can you pop one in the pool for me? Appreciate you.
Strong start.
Strong start. Well, we've redeemed the nat 1, at least. As you speak, and your words ring true, the Master of Ceremonies leans forward and curls his long fingertips to tap his knuckle against his chin. And where, pray tell, would you have heard such A rumor. There are many lost things here in Harold Hills. Many forgotten, neglected things.
Oh, here and there, you know. Large ears, you hear lots of things.
Large ears.
I'll make my ears twitch.
And he nods his head. I find that those of the Jackalope Court all seem to be possessed of large ears. The Autumn Prince liked to keep those of like-mindedness close to his breast. I wonder if you be the change bringers rumor has been speaking of. Tell me, do you come on the behest of he, or of your own volition, to my humble abode?
He lost something. I happen to be an expert in lost things. I offered to help him find it. That search led me here. So, I suppose you can draw your own conclusions about on his behest or no.
He leans in and begins to lean over the woven wooden lattice that separates his little podium area from the general court. And lean he does, poking his head far over as he places a hand upon it to stare back at you. Then one by one look your companions over.
As he's looking them over, I tend to be very generous with my friends. And I can roll whatever you want to put so that he understands the double meaning I am putting in those words.
There is some innuendo happening here.
Yes.
Yes, please roll a persuasion check.
Ew.
There is one in the pool if you want to use it now, or if you want to let that ride.
I'll let it ride. It's not. Yeah, I'll let it ride for now.
Let it ride. It is enough, it seems, that it draws his eyes away from your companions and back toward you. Generosity. We have not seen much generosity in so many seasons. It would seem that most are content to avoid, abscond, emigrate, and abandon these places. I wonder what generosity he has offered you to gain such interesting companionship that he has given in order to get. I suppose it is not my place to ask, to speculate, to pontificate. But I must say it is a peculiarity to see such a group as this. The physical, those of the prime material, walking hand in hand with a member of the Spring Court as well as the Jackalope Court. What strange eon is this? You speak of generosity. Consider me curious. And with one long-legged step, he lifts his leg up and over the lattice, his leg seeming to stretch to the ground before doing the same with the other leg. He meanders meanders. He begins to walk steadily toward you and your entourage. His arms fold behind his back as he looms above and stares down to you, Bones, and occasionally glances over your party members once more, seemingly attempting to gain the measure of those around you.
Bones doesn't flinch. Almost everyone's taller than her than her pa, so.
Now that he's moved closer, I'm going to move a little bit, step closer since he's decided to move up. I've got interest in him. Can I do an investigation check to see if the pumpkin head is actually his functional head because this is the Feywild versus a clever ruse?
Oh, yeah. You want to see if you're peering into an illusion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's investigation, I think.
Along those lines, could I do an insight check to kind of get a vibe check on him?
Yeah, sure. Investigation of 12? If it's an illusion, it's a damn good one. You cannot find the telltale haze of illusory magic surrounding this creature. But at the same time, his head does appear to be flaming and not crisping. With an insight wisdom check, is this just a vibe check?
Yeah, pretty much a vibe check. Kind of gauging hostility versus hospitality.
With a 17, you're getting like a 30-70 mix, mostly hospitable, but there is some hostility that seems to be being reined in. You're not seeing the telltale signs of rage building. You are seeing a certain curiosity, enough so that if there is some hostility, it's being put at bay or pushed aside for the sake of conversing. There is what seems to be genuine curiosity happening. Is anyone else making checks?
Yeah, I'll make an insight check. That'd be good.
Feel free, and feel free to speak up or gesticulate if you would like. I try not to speak up too much over people. Insight wisdom.
25. Sorry.
Let me delete one of those. 25 wisdom. Are you looking for something more than what Karn is searching for?
No.
General vibe check, or?
Yeah, a general vibe check. Seeing because this is the first time he's met the Pumpkin King, so he's trying to, see what the general level of hostility is.
So you've heard that he's batshit insane. This is downright kind. This is, there's a measure of respectfulness. There's a measure of hospitality. There does seem to be this underlying, scrutiny. It does seem like he's scrutinizing the party. You're getting maybe there might be some low-key paranoia vibe here. There may be a low-key, what are you playing at kind of vibe that he's trying to suss out. And he does seem very interested in not just Bones, but not just Bones, but her companions as well.
Okay. I've noticed, or Raven noticed, that Karn stepped up before him, and with everybody else moving up, that gives him. He doesn't exactly puff out his chest, of course, but it gives him a bit more boldness.
A little bit of boldness.
In that he's going to step parallel. Excuse me. And step right there, and just.
Okay. Before I continue, was there anything anyone wanted to speak up before I go into another long diatribe?
Bones will speak up, but I want to give someone else a chance if they want to jump in first.
Press X to continue the cutscene.
So this is what we're doing now. Bones, did you see that there's... Oh, Karn?
Karn is not speaking up, but he's watching carefully because he has questions he's very interested in knowing the answers to. But it's very much a situation where he doesn't feel all the cards are on the table yet. So he's waiting to see how this is going.
Okay. Excellent. You bide your time, you wait, you watch, as Karn is wont to do. Bones, you see that you have his full attention, or most of his attention.
So we are the Changebringers, as rumored.
He inclines his head and gives you a bit of a bow. And the rumors are true. I must say, I'm slowly becoming a fan of your work. Though I know nothing of your work ethic. Tell me, have you come to regale us with tales of your deeds? Or to extend that generosity you have mentioned? To make a trade? Or perhaps have you come to track down those lost things by all means necessary? He kind of leans in. How important is it to you, this quest of yours?
I would prefer to find an agreeable end to my quest. But when I make a promise to my friends, I keep it. However, he is my first friend. You could be my second, if you'd like to be friends.
You see the faintest twitch in the jagged corners of this pumpkin's face. What looks to be a smile at first quickly wrinkles into a frown. Isn't it always that he is friends first? And the Master of Ceremonies second. He stands again to his full height.
I think that you may have just given me an idea.
He gives pause for just a moment.
You mentioned generosity. I think we could come to an arrangement where I could be generous, and you can come first.
Bones, you may roll a persuasion check. However, something about what you said has soured the conversation, so it will be a disadvantage.
Oh, shit.
At this point, Roar has pulled out a notebook and is writing.
25.
25 or 25? I guess I gotta take one of them. That twitch in the corners of his cheeks, again, there's a little flicker of something. You see the flame inside of his mouth, briefly stimming. It goes for a moment to this vibrant blue, before again back to this red color. And he looks you over, folds his hands back behind him. I am not unfond of of arrangements, of planning. I do like myself a good plan, a good scheme, a good get together. Speak your mind.
How would
And-
you feel about a holiday in the material plane in your honor?
One moment. He looks you over and lifts up one leg, bending at the knee. And a second later, he bends the other knee and appears to recline on the air itself. He sits back, floating ever so slightly, folds one arm across the other to prop his elbow up, and gently wraps his knuckle against his chin. You see the shape of the carvings in his brow begin to morph and twist, lifting as he gives your words weight and consideration. And he grows distant for a moment. Distant now, far away, beyond the me that is me. My other half, yes, remembers this. The half of me. There was a holiday. There was a celebration, yes, the master of ceremonies needed a ceremony. An evening. A night of contradictions. Fighting, yes, but merrymaking still. Of lies and sweetened truths. An evening longing to challenge the mind, to reward the heart. An eve of fire and laughter, of false faces, lies, and masquerade, of gifts and thrills, to remind the world of the importance of fright, of fear, and how by conquering it life is made all the sweeter. We remember. We remember that it was taken from us. We remember the other half. Oh, loathsome is. What a grievous existence. Half hither and half thither, yet neither in both. You would do this for us. You have this sway. Could this be done?
I am the leader of a small town, but a well-respected member of the community in a much larger one. I think I could make this happen. It might take some time, but we can start small and get it bigger.
And she does have a scrivener.
Yes, we are beginning to understand. We are beginning to see why he put his faith in you not. Skilled, influential, gifted with magic and touched by words of power all. First I laid my eyes upon your sign. And he looks to you, Bones. Nobility. Inheritor. I thought it came from something else, but now we see. And in exchange, we would assume that you want those things that we have taken. Let us not beat around the bush. My troopers are adequate at their work.
If I may, sir, the troopers are downright more than adequate.
They,
Downright professionals.
they gave us a run for our money and quite a challenge and a mystery.
We do love stellar reviews of our work. We do so love our troopers, like family they are to us. Small, fluffy, bouncy family. Perfect at mischief. Perfect at madness. And armed to the teeth with razors and claws. Right. He unfolds his legs and goes to stand. And leans in once more, looking over the party. We still have doubts. I should like to discuss this arrangement more. I should like very much to be second friend. Second friend beats no friends. But first, we would like to show you something. Would you indulge us?
Of course.
Looks the party over, looks you over. Inclines his head, stands a little straighter. At ease, troopers. There will be no games tonight. Well, stand down for now. If you would all be so kind. Please, follow me.
I'll follow.
Master of Ceremonies turns his back to the party and begins to march. The larger of his troopers begin to flank him, and then as you move, they slowly meander backward further and further, flanking the party like one by one, until they're kind of in the back, as you are led away from the court and toward the edge of the woods.
Raven's gonna sidle up next to Bones. Bones, all that true now. You're the leader and able to influence so many people thus, an entire holiday.
I don't know if you've met many gnomes, but if I can get them on a holiday, and that's not even a strong if, I can get them in on a holiday, everyone else is happy to party with them.
That's quite amazing, I tell you what. And he tips his head toward his hat back on his head and just continues on.
Okay. Let us move to the Theater of the Mind. Activate. There we go.
The waypoint unlocked.
I'll throw him back on the map for funsies. You all are led toward the edge of the woods and toward a half-buried, mostly overgrown cobblestone path leading toward Harrowed Hills, the city, the castle town. And as you do, the Master of Ceremonies, arms behind his back, begins to speak quietly as though to no one or as though to everyone. It is no secret that our court is neglected. Our subjects have left in droves. The influence of Harrowed Hills is so greatly diminished. Our denizens relocate to amber breeze. They abandon the realm they illusion of safety. Once, and perhaps now, I called the Autumn Prince friend. Brother, even. And now I find his choice to entertain and protect those who reside in his precious, idyllic amber breeze. It's a balm. It addresses not the underlying problems of our world. I feel he forgets the importance of discomfort. I feel his people. They choose to turn a blind eye to the horrors surrounding harvest. He appeases Zoljan, the White Death of the Glacier Peaks, as if to buy time between now and his inevitable betrayal. All while he pays lip service to Robin. Honeyed words of a soon that may never be. At the mention of Robin, he casts a glance to you, Raven.
Raven does kind of his I guess his countenance darkens slightly, but it's there, then it's gone.
For an emptied and disused and neglected domain, we still hear such word. The discontent among those who still remain here. The stagnation of it all. Maddening. Infuriating. It is no wonder you have come to see, to suss out, as it would be, the intention and capability of your new companions. I will not say that I do not have my doubts, for I do. I mean no disrespect. He glances to Bones as he says that. The creatures of the material plane have a fragility to them. And yet, he continues to lead you through a gate and into a somewhat decrepit city of stone, tall towers. As you enter into the city, the sky transforms from shades of red and gold and very faint blue off in the distance to a deep, dark gray, as though a storm were brewing above. And as he leads you deeper into the city, that sky darkens until it is almost pitch black. And yet, the light is merely dim. No sun in the sky, no color, but you are not plummeted into darkness yet. And he begins to lead you toward deeper decrepitness. More buildings are overrun with sparse and dead vegetation growing through the cracks. More crumbling stone, collapsed roofs, speckling streets. And though there are denizens and citizens, they appear to be mostly hollowed shades, translucent images of creatures. The occasional spindly and stealthy spider skitters across the way. You occasionally see a bat hanging from a belfry. There appear to be like a couple of skeletons that are moving and picking up boulders. They were parts of buildings, now reduced to rubble, pushing them out of the way. Some small denizens are moving into buildings, moving out. There is some hustle and bustle, but it is quite subdued. If I may be so frank, I feel as though he is content to rest and wait for someone else to fix the problems of our world. And to that end, I and trying to gain the attention of those without. There are so few inhabitable domains. And so to bring them here, to remind them of what it is we face, we sought to take what was theirs. Not forever, but for a time. To draw them, to bring them here, so that they may see and be reminded, not to turn a blind eye to the fears around them. Oh, we lost Alicia. Uh-oh. Oh, welcome back. You here?
Yeah, I hit the wrong button on my keyboard, and it's like, I'm starting a call with somebody. No, I'm not.
Okay, cool. Google, no, stop that. Stop that. Go away. Oh, fuck. Google thought I was talking to him, and I wasn't. To remind them of what is beyond. To remind them of what's beyond their borders. To light a fire in their hearts. And remind them of the importance of fear. What it means to face it. If his champions are to do any good with the harvest, then I should like to see you face it as well. He leads you to the crumbling entrance of what appears to be a castle. As you observe and come close, you behold the stone surface. As you get closer, it seems to stretch on and on and on into the darkness. As you turn to look left, turn to look right, it appears to be the facade of a castle wall of rounded towers, ramparts. But the patterns seem to repeat, seem to fractalize. And the further you look in any direction, the more and more this enormous building grows. He stands beside this entrance for a moment, and then ducks his head underneath the arched opening, stepping through into the dark, and you see the flame of his pumpkin head is swallowed by the dark.
You suppose we follow?
We follow. And Bones will step forward.
He clearly doesn't know who he thinks doesn't know how to fear or frighten.
I follow.
Is anyone staying outside?
Not I.
Karn starts to head forward and kind of mumble to himself.
You step forward, Karn, you mumble a little bit, and Karn, I'm assuming you're rear guard, right?
Yeah.
You see that the troopers have some trepidation as they follow after you. One moment.
This one is wary of one who finds a spreading of fear to be held in such high regard.
No, what's wrong with fear? It ain't but another emotion.
There is nothing wrong with fear. It is the praising of the spreading of fear that feels problematic.
No, I understand his logic a little bit.
You don't want complacency. That leads to bad things. Ask some lizards.
Oh, Felkarn. Felkarn, you shouldn't be a Karn anymore. You should be Crownguard, not Falcon. There we go. And there we go. Activate.
Did I miss something? Oh, there we go. Never mind.
Immediately as you step through into the darkness, each and every one of you feels a strangeness, a pull upon your stomach, a tingling of your skin. Upon passing the threshold of the archway, the interior is lit, just barely. You see the ruins of a castle before you, a long stretch of a hallway full of detritus and broken things. And along the path, great gaps in the stonework, as though the interior had been smashed, broken, destroyed. And yet, the pieces not allowed to fall. You see a broken thing before you, where slabs of stone float upon nothing, as thorns and iron chains seem to stretch from the darkness beyond, above, and below to choke out some image in the distance, an image that's difficult to look at, as your skin tingles and this sense of wrongness begins to twist and fill you one by one. Jack takes a step forward and observes, looking into this nothingness beyond the vines.
I call out.
So you said you had another half. What happened to the other half?
As I pull out my notebook and get ready to write.
He looks to you and appears somber. The flame of his maw in his eyes and his head seems to die down slightly. Harrowed Hills was torn asunder, broken, when it happened. Some of the Arcanists refer to it as a planar lock. I know not what it is. All I know is that my domain was severed in half. Perhaps more. It is hard for us to remember. With it, part of me as well. We are nothing if not our domain, us lords. We remember bits and pieces of what it was like before. We have been told we have gone slightly mad from our ordeals. Perhaps it is true. Perhaps it is the mad idea of a desperate man to bring his subjects back. Perhaps it is madness to try to fix what is broken. From where I stand, I feel it is madness to sit by while our world is choked and poisoned by this. Gestures, swinging an arm out toward the empty space, and you can see even he cannot bear to look at it. The fire that had grown and flourished in his skull begins to fade and flicker, as again he looks somber. You've seen these things before, yes? Something similar, we would assume.
I've seen them injure someone I like a lot.
Terrible things. Jagged points of law. Sharpened into fine points. Imagine it like a scab. A multiverse responding to worlds that refuse to heal. The triage, as you may clearly see, is not absolute. There are places where the thorns, where that law fails to emerge. The cordon has gaps. One such gap is in the middle of my domain. I have seen, I have beheld what lies beyond. He takes a step forward and does not seem to mind your presence beside him, Roar. In fact, he seems to shift a little closer to you as he tries to focus on the emptiness beyond the thorns. He was silent for a few moments.
What caused this?
Sarac and his machine.
Flames flicker and grow. Then there is a name for which to apply my enmity. Beyond this is a great expanse of nothing. Horrible, absolute nothing. A void. Oblivion itself. And yet, I know my other half exists somewhere. The remains of my domain exists somewhere. It feels as though just beyond the gaps, just beyond that void, were I only to push, I might break through. And yet once beyond, in that void there are no answers for me, only wrongness, some anathema to our kind. Something I cannot comprehend. My power is great, my nature, damned into nature, I cannot overcome. But you, he looks to bones, he looks to carne, he looks to gore. But you, as seemingly meager compared to beings like we, you and your ink are more blessed than you know. Perhaps there is more to be seen through the eyes of a material being, of a real creature, perhaps.
So it's a crack? I'm not asking, this is how they're asking.
It is more than a crack. As you turn your attention to observe beyond, you see that in these thorns, between these chains of irons, what he has described as law, there is an opening, a big one, large enough for maybe a huge creature to fit through. If we're talking, comparisons. Easy enough for a person, certainly, to leap through.
So you look, but you cannot understand.
We have stepped through, and we were changed. Terrified, yes. But we saw something we cannot understand. Only refuse. We can only refuse it, refute it, unmake it, or resist it. it's easy enough for you to cross over the gaps in the stonework to reach a larger platform just beyond the opening in what you can only think is a portal of some kind. You feel a push against you, not physically, but metaphysically. Raven, as you grow close, you feel physically repulsed. It's as though you're looking into the sun, and your body is reflexively, instinctually turning away as though to shield your eyes. You may choose to attempt to get closer, but you feel it will be a feat of some kind to do so.
No, this is well close enough. Like, Raven is fine right there. He was gonna ask Jack, like, he was gonna ask about the experience and getting close and all the stuff, but being where he is and just starting to feel that, he is fine where he is. He is going to call out to Bones, who everyone is saying is like a daughter of this place. You watch out for those thorns now. You gotta remember, us kind can't get near them. Don't know what to do for you specifically.
You know, I'm not sure. And I will touch one. I'm just gonna fingertip touch one of the thorns.
Yeah, you reach out.
I used to work with fucking iron around me all of the time.
All the time. You reach out to touch a thorn, and you just touch it. You don't grab it. You don't.
No, yeah, I'm not
You're
trying
careful.
to hurt myself.
You reach out and touch it, and it's cold. It's firm. The plant-like material does not appear to be like plant. It's some kind of, not like stone and not quite scale, but it appears some kind of physical material. The thorns themselves are some kind of cold iron, polished and pointy. Wonders never cease.
I'm like, even though I can see that they are metallic, I'd like to raise my hand and see if I can sense any kind of natural life to them.
Natural life to them. So you're gonna try to reach out to like the green and see if there's like a vibe from it.
Yeah, I feel like, particularly at this point, I feel like a certain affinity for wildlife, and thinking of the leaves and the trees I've spoken with in Amber Breeze, just kind of a connection to the nature of places. And I want to, yeah.
I'd like to give a quick reminder, because I know people forget. Karn spoke with the plants and got specific metallic, loud, shrieking, angry noises.
Oh, that's right. When we first got here,
That was a thing.
are these same? These are the same kind of.
These appear to be the same material, the same stuff. Yes. But as Jack has said, the cordon, there were holes in it. He referred to it as a scab or triage or a cordon, and here you are looking through where they have failed to choke out whatever they're blocking off. If you want to make a check of some kind, let me know if it's perception, arcana. You can ride your passive perception if you want, or you can roll for it.
I would like. So I'd like to make a case for a wisdom-based nature check.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Which would essentially I'll roll insight since I've got proficiency and.
All right, so it's gonna say insight, but we'll treat it as nature.
Yeah, but treat it as nature, kind of drawing on that connection, thinking back to those metallic screeches and screams when we first got here. I'm trying to wrap my head around these things being. Jack called them order,
Law.
Law.
Law,
And
order.
what that means in a place like this.
What it means in a place like this, well, with a nature check, you've been going through some stuff lately, unearthing some things, some thoughts, some history. The 19 in nature. I'm going to say that you recall a little bit about the nature of the planes. Normally this would be an Arcana check, but this is sort of baseline, the vaguest of layman's terms. Perhaps introduced to you by Ingrid, or perhaps introduced to you by another in a different life. The plane of fairy, the Feywild, is said to be a place of chaos, where the laws, the rules, order is very lax. Where Jack had referred to these as law, it would seem as though these things are imposing something, some semblance of reality, of the concreteness of the material plane, some order to what is otherwise chaos. You do not discern a sense of nature from them, a sense of life from them. But putting together what you had experienced before, and putting together what Jack had said just now about the thorns being law made into sharpened points, it does conjure some ideas. With a nature check of 19, you get that much, but it would be Arcana or some kind of study to discern more.
Okay, just piecing together Karn's thought process in the moment.
It does resonate. It does resonate something in you.
And it definitely feels like, because based on that description, using that as kind of the feelings he's gaining from this, it does feel like the material world pressing in on the Fey realm.
You could make that kind of jump.
Especially drawing upon what was said about a Cererex machine.
If not the material plane, then some other form of rule or failsafe, some form of law has been introduced here.
Does Karn voice his words out loud?
This has all been just kind of going through his head. Physically, out loud, he looks confused. This is at odds with this place. It comes from elsewhere.
You said this was law. What if it's runic?
Is this addressed to Karn, or
No, just to the room in general. Like Bone's just thinking out loud.
Okay.
Definitely thinking out loud because Karn has no idea what runic entails.
Master of Ceremonies just kind of watches on and tries to focus on the group, but does not say anything.
Well, we can go through. I can turn my bedroll into a makeshift flying carpet to get us through safe, to see what's on the other side. He said it's law, so something that doesn't make sense to him, but will make sense to us.
We can definitely check it out. I'm thinking maybe it's law not in the sense of like... I'm thinking it's like the law of gravity. Or the arcane laws, not so much the like don't murder people laws.
Right, order instead of disorder.
Cool, you said you could make a magic carpet?
Sort of. I can only do it for 2. But Karn, you can still become a bird, right?
Yes.
Okay, then I don't have to worry about Karn. Pull out my bedroll. Since bedroll is no longer wrapping up a Fae friend, unfortunately, because someone had to spoil my phone, he will roll it out and then, using his ring of telekinesis, draw it straight. And he will step on one part of it and then wait for Bones to join.
I sure will.
Okay.
I'm gonna look back towards Leah and the others.
I hope you don't think I'm about to get up on that.
I don't think it would be safe for our Fae friends.
You didn't come this far, I didn't expect you to.
This one can carry the Leah.
Leah, you approach. All right, cool. Yeah. So you cast telekinesis on your on your bedroll, and it becomes a flying carpet as per instructed. Karn, I assume you assume a form of some kind and prepare to.
I will be becoming a metallic giant eagle.
Metallic giant eagle. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Gabriel, I see you moving about. Are you up to what's going on with your little porcupine head?
She sees the others are gonna head off and kind of wants to tag along.
Gabriel, don't you dare.
Gabriel.
Why not?
Much like Raven, as you turn your attention toward this opening into nothingness, you feel that same repulsion, that same feeling of looking into the sun and being forced to look away. You may attempt to approach if you like, but it will be a check.
I'll make a check.
It's going to be a charisma saving throw as you take a few
You go
steps
full
closer.
Icarus.
And you do have Indomitable, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it lets you re-roll a saving throw, but double check the writing.
I don't see it.
It's under your actions. Indomitable.
Huh, okay. I'll re-roll that then.
Okay.
Nope, I'm fucked.
You begin to move forward, and as you do, you feel physical pain as you approach the large detritus wood that makes a sort of bridge between the chunk of ground you are approaching and the platform the rest of the party is on. As you peer down, you see darkness, emptiness, and the glint of iron down below. Do you proceed further?
No, I step back.
You step back just as you feel part of your skin, your bones, your quills begin to ache, knowing that if you step further, you will endure pain. As though approaching the sun.
Sorry, Gabriel. I don't go too. This makes a hell of a song, but this ain't for us.
Make for a hell of a song. As the Fae folk remain on one side, and the party begins to gather. Karn, you take to your giant eagle form. You gather Leah, clutching her close. Roar, you take a step and a seat upon your bedroll. Bones, you sit beside him, in front of him.
Beside.
Magic carpet ride, why not? And you all begin to take off toward not a very narrow, but side by side, a somewhat cramped opening. You approach the thorns, approach the opening within. You see there's a shimmer of light, of brightness, of dimness, almost like dusk beyond. And as you pass through, I need War and Karn to make charisma saving throws.
Oh no.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Oh no.
I really should have saved some shit. Charisma, you say?
Is that your dumb stat like it is mine?
It is. Yes. That was my dumb stat.
Nat 20!
One in the pool.
Alright. Saving throw.
Use it.
Using that. It already rolls at advantage, so even if I took the die, I still only have a 5.
Well, you didn't get to roll with advantage to begin with, so just re-roll the 3.
Not sure why it's doing double rolls for you, but yeah, you can. I'll allow it.
Okay, then I will take one of the karma dice from the pool.
Just count the one on the left.
Yep. And where's? God damn it! I hate this. Completely different icon. No, it's a completely different icon because I have the window popped out, so it took me a second to find what I need to grab again.
Gotcha. 16. Karn, you pass through the threshold, and you feel an immediate rush of cold across your body as your eyes adjust to utter darkness.
Uh-oh.
You feel your wings beating against nothing. The pit of your stomach feels as though you are to fall, but you do not sense that telltale motion, that wind wicking at your throat. Roar. With only a 16, the magic that causes your bedroll to levitate disapparates. You find that you are carrying the momentum that you had before as you pass into darkness. You feel you've lost control of your telekinesis and are free falling? No, free floating. Among you, there are 3 who have dark vision. Am I correct? Roar, Bones,
Yep.
and Leah? Karn, you do not.
Yay belts. He is a giant eagle. He does?
Giant eagles don't have dark vision.
Oh, it's out giant owls.
Owls, yep.
Giant eagles do not have dark vision, so Karn, you're kind of groping blindly as your eyes adjust. The other 3 of you, you find yourselves in a great expanse of black. Looking in all directions, you see there is no ground, no sky, no clouds, no walls, no mountains. You now, Roar, are floating freely, holding onto your carpet. Karn, as your eyes begin to adjust slowly, you start to make out a very distant and dim glimmer. Speckles. Dots. Like the dust of a flurry storm, but stationary, frozen in time. Bones or Leah, you recognize far away, distant stars. And with your superior dark vision, or at the very least adequate dark a hole punched through it. As your eyes collectively adjust,
I reach out just to, and grab on Bones to make sure she doesn't drift forward, because it's hard to tell if we're actually moving. But
you sense movement. You sense movement.
I am actively grabbing Bones and no. We need to go back.
Right. Does Bones has been reading about the planes in Reg's library. Does she recognize what the fuck this is? Like, Heather knows, but does Bones know?
This would not be something that has been documented, not in Reg's library.
Oh, damn. Cool.
Bones.
I'm gonna start trying to swim back towards where we came from.
Everyone please give me a perception check.
Roar knows exactly what that thing is.
Karn, you may roll with disadvantage if you so choose, or you may ride your passive, knowing that you are at a disadvantage.
So, funny thing about that, giant eagles, if I remember correctly, get advantage on sight-based perception checks.
All right, it's neutral then.
My passive is still considerably better than a roll, though. Oh no, if this is active, I'll take the active check.
Okay.
No!
Fair. There's still one in the pool if you want to use it. I see a 21, and a 16.
Yeah, I'd like to use it. Good.
I was just going to ask, can Roar just vocalize what that thing is that he is seeing currently and why they need to move?
If you want to make noise, yes.
The DM can correct me if I'm assuming wrong, but Roar believes he recognizes this from when he had to bring back Karn's life spark after reigniting him, and there was a giant pull.
Okay.
He knows this as the Orb of Annihilation from Sarak's broken machine, and the pull feels the same, I guess, so he's panicking.
With your 21, I'm going to let you know.
It should also be noted that since I don't actually feel like air beneath my wings, I've been just kind of like beating them and kind of twisting, and I don't really have... My sense of balance is all thrown off.
Your sense of balance is thrown off, and as you try to gain wind beneath your wings, you find that you are spiraling and floundering. With your 21 perception check, Roar, it is similar, yes, but when you had rescued Karn from that terrible fate, there was howling, there was whipping winds, there was a very strong pull. This feels different. This feels stagnant almost. You sense movements, but you cannot determine if it is draw or momentum. As you try to make sense of this, it could very well be what you think it is, but there are differences from your experience. Moving on from Roar's 21 to Bones' 21. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move to Leah's 16 first. Leah, as you focus your eyes and you adjust and look at that great black blot, you cannot determine how far away or how close it is. But you do get a sense of shape and value on the surface. From this far away, you see almost like a halo of haze, of gray, of light almost, as though the backdrop of dim stars were illuminating this. And you are approaching its shadow, the shadow of an orb, a ball, a sphere of some kind. From there, we'll move to Bones, who is not panicking, who also rolled a 21. As Bones, you focus, eyes drawn to this thing far ahead of you, this sphere, this orb, and you begin to consider, thinking back to the books, thinking back to the library, thinking back to everything you can. You get a sense of scale. And can't help but wonder how big this is, this thing that blocks out the stars. And you start to trace the edges, the fringe, the haze. And with your keen tabaxi eyes, you start to make out shapes along the surface of this orb. Shades of gray, just barely perceptible. You begin to make out the contour of some fixture upon this great spherical surface. A faint reflection of starlight. Of something round and glassy. Something sandwiched between two great ridges, like an orifice or a sphincter. With a perception check of 21, you behold, as your eyes adjust, a great, unblinking, hazy eye.
I give it the middle finger.
The middle finger. You flip off a great, enormous thing. Karn, what were you saying?
How close are we all to the... What does the entryway look like that we came through?
As you're spinning and kind of tail spiraling, you get a glimpse of the opening behind you. It is moving rapidly fast away from you. What are y'all doing? What are y'all saying?
Swimming back towards the entrance.
You attempt to swim, but you find there is no drag upon your hands. You are, well, you and Roar are still together. Karn and Leah, spinning, are starting to drift away from you.
I'm going to...
Go ahead.
Can I throw out my... Or can I straighten out my bedroll and try to use telekinesis on it again to see if I can get it to...
Yeah, you straighten out the bedroll. You straighten out the bedroll, you cast telekinesis, and bam, the spell takes hold. Something about the transition appears to have interrupted your magic. Like you reach for your magic, you find it, and you cast it. And the bedroll is again animated, but your friends are still drifting.
And I will take care of that as I de-wild shape and promptly re-wild shape into a giant octopus. Fun fact, giant octopuses can hold their breath when outside of the water.
Giant octopus can hold their breath outside of water, and I believe they have a 10-foot reach.
And they have many arms with which to reach with.
Many arms. So you tentacle grab Leah, and you begin to wriggle about and search for perches.
15-foot reach.
And a 10-foot reach. I'm going to say 10 feet is enough to reach out to the others if you make a coordinated attempt to.
I will not resist and will in fact try to help get to Carntopus.
Carntopus. Yeah, you reach out for a noodly mechanical appendage. This is going to be a check of some kind. You guys decide who makes it, what kind of check it is. You are spiraling in an expansive nothingness. You've got a noodly friend reaching out for you.
I mean...
I'll take it.
Acrobatics?
Sure!
I feel like if dexterity is involved at all, this is a bones check.
This is a bones check. Acrobatics to reach out and grab Karn, but also not drift off toward whatever the fuck this is.
30.
That sounds about fucking right. You reach out, you grab not one but two of Karn's noodly appendages and just scissor grab the carpet. You've got Karn.
And the carpet.
You got the carpet.
Carpet.
Hey, that's all the leverage I need to reach out with another leg to grab that carpet.
Hell yeah. You cling to what you can. All right. You have a carpet, you have purchase on each other. Roar, what are you doing?
I am going to use telekinesis to, because everyone is now in one spot, start moving away, or looking back. I now am using telekinesis to move us back towards the fucking doorway that we are quickly racing away from.
You're quickly racing away. Give me an Arcana check. 11. You cast your magic and you command it to move, and you find that in this space, momentum's betraying you somewhat. There's a lag to it, but you do begin to catch up.
I would like to, instead of going straight back at it, because I feel the lag and it keeps me slower, I want to go at an angle so I can get some more sideways distance from the thing that we were heading straight towards, hoping that somehow gives us some more leverage.
Swimming away from a riptide, as it were.
Swimming away from a riptide, absolutely. You can roll another Arcana check. If someone wants to add something to that, I don't know what skills you guys have, but you can help in some way if you have features to do so.
I'm trying to squid propel myself towards the exit.
Okay, I'm going to look towards Roar and be like, okay, don't panic, but we are all depending on you to get us away from our own stupid decisions. And I'm going to give him a bardic inspiration.
I love it. Roar, you feel the world upon your shoulders. You can roll another Arcana check. I think it's, what's D8 now?
It is a
Bardic?
D8.
D8 for Bart. Ooh. Roll high. 17. Excellent. Alright, so feeling the weight of this experience and feeling the emptiness around you, something occurs to you. In all of this nothingness, whatever would happen if you failed. In this vastness, this nothingness, you and your group are less than one of those dim stars far away. Feeling that urgency, you feel a kind of pulse inside of you, a sort of drive akin to what a living thing would call fight or flight. And so you push, but you think, and you push against the riptide, around it. You rapidly gather speed as you approach the glimmering hole, the rupture, the tear that you had stepped through before. And I would like you to make a charisma check as you pass through the threshold. Sorry, charisma saving throw.
Oh great, this can't go bad, guys. We saw how that last one went. Woo! 19, better than nothing.
19, that's not shabby. That's not shabby at all. It's not a crit, but I'm going to say it's high enough. You feel a pull, and you feel like tension as though the magic wants to pull away from you, but you know what you're getting into this time, and you hold tight to your spell. You sail through the rupture and back onto this side. You see Jack, his pumpkin head flushes with flame as he hoots and hollers and yeah! Your arrival, and you are overburdened on your telekinetic bedroll as you come crashing down onto the platform that you had left. Need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
I would say that as soon as I feel my tentacles reaching into that other world, into the Feywild, I'm immediately reaching out to grab hold of those thorns, those vines, to yank myself back through and pull Leah with me.
Okay. I'm going to give you advantage. If you want to roll for Leah, you can. Leah, if you want to roll, you may, but Karn would roll this advantage.
You've got a +5 on dexterity, so.
Dear Lord.
That octopus is not communicative. Yeah.
I don't have any of my saves checked on my sheet.
Oh, hold on a second. Features, physician.
Oh, I should have argued for strength check.
That would have made sense. I don't recall what your saving throws are. Let me check here real quick. One sec.
I've got the PDF.
Dexterity and charisma. It's dexterity and charisma. Just check them off for you.
Thank you. Yeah, my sheet's changed so many times, I don't think everything is kept across the changes.
There's some jank happening. We'll address that after this arc's over. But yeah, you can make a dexterity save. Karn, you're grabbing onto thorns. You managed to hold your weight, but you do take 5 points of piercing damage.
Yeah, that's fine.
Row.
Dexterity. 17's not shabby. You manage to cling to Karn, and you don't incur any thorn stabbages. With a 23 and a 16 from Roar and Bones, respectively, you two come crashing down a little bit more elegantly than you would expect. You are, after all, professionals. You land finding purchase on the platform that you had left from. Karn and Leah, I'm going to move you guys just a little bit. I'm going to say you're dangling over this platform here, but it's easy enough to land on.
I was going to say, with a 17, is that enough to like go sliding down one of his tentacles and landing on the platform?
For sure. 17, yeah, you managed to get there.
Yeah, once on this side, I'm like throwing myself onto the platforms and moving onto solid ground.
Right on. I'm going to say, yeah, you can manage to, rope climb your way over.
And then immediately transforming back into myself and kind of falling to my hands and knees in like a gasping breath. No, 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 no.
As you guys emerge, Jack takes a few steps forward. His flames flicker. And you've seen it. The nothingness beyond.
Oh yeah, it was real stupid to do that.
I mean, how will you learn if you don't try? No seriousness.
Study.
I was going to say, is there an Arcana check that I can make to figure out where we just were, given that I've accidentally hopped planes before?
Yeah, you can roll an Arcana check. I'll let you do that. Roar, were you saying something?
Not yet, no.
No, okay.
Like, Roar landed and immediately pulled out his notebook and started to scrawl what he had seen. I mean, the only question I would have is, did Roar see the eye as well as Bones, or was Bones the only one that actually recognized the eye before they started running?
I'm going to say
No.
that, Roar, you were panicking a little bit.
So that was a fucking eye. Just a giant eyeball.
Roar, you know there's a giant eyeball. Alright, cutting back to Arcana check of 24, and I'll let you talk in a sec. Leah, with an Arcana check of 24.
Excellent.
Because you've been working with Biff, and because you have transitioned to another plane, you think you stepped out into a plane, but you can't be certain. It is unlike anything you know of. It is unlike anything that you've seen documented. If it is a plane, you've heard of the Shadowfell? A place where Hectopol's imprisoned, a place of darkness and sadness and penance?
Quick question, would I know about the place between places? Or if there is some place between places?
With an Arcana check of 24? You can... That's not too far of a stretch to believe that there may be a space between spaces. A hole. Sorry, Bones. Didn't mean to cut you off. Big fucking eye. Jack looks at you and... You saw no eye. You did believe that your ilk may see more, perceive more. You know that's wrongness.
This is a bad place.
Yes, it's quite terrible. And we are its wardens now. Keepers of the cordon. You came to retrieve items. I feel perhaps you and your ilk that our gambit has paid tenfold. You know. You care. That is worth more than 100, 1,000 subjects. As you catch your breath, the two troopers in the back flanking begin to move forward. And Jack begins to move back and away, averting his gaze from, not from you, but from where you came from. So then, the items. We shall abide our arrangement all day in exchange for that which should be returned. My troopers will bring them back. And to the Autumn Prince, I shall leave his harp in your care. For now, are you injured? Do you have wounds needing tending? It is no mere feat to transcend beyond the Great Rift, to see which should not be seen, to step out of bounds.
I mean, we're not hurt from that. I'm a bit fucked up from your troopers, but to be expected from a nice fight.
Such pride I take in their claws, so sharp, so razor sharp, yes! Yes, wounds, we may tend to those. Right, the game.
This one will be fine after a short rest.
Very well. Take the rest that you need. Perhaps, in more pleasant environments. Troopers, see to it that they are tended to.
I'm gonna do a quick, interiority check and make sure that Rua is okay as well.
You get the sensation of metaphysical hyperventilation. She is frozen in fear. You sense relief. You sense a sharp panic, existential dread. Very much the idea of, oh God, this is it. And relief. Utter relief.
Good with that?
One by one, those of you who need aid are led back across from the broken slabs of stone. You're given time to think, to catch your breath, to chat it out if you so choose, while Jack appears to be intending to lead you back to his court.
Yeah. I'm going to send a message to, he.
Certainly, you take the piece of his horn, of his antler, you hold it close, and you speak your message. There did not appear to be a word limit on the message, so you may cut loose, as the kids say.
Right, so we've recovered the harp. I've seen what lies beyond the iron thicket. It's real bad. Really, really bad.
Very bad.
But I'm getting your harp back.
So as you send your message, you feel a number of impressions. Not so much words, but emotions manifesting, swirling in your mind. At once there is this concern and this worry and this pang of shame. Relief. Joy. A somber kind of sadness, but followed by resolution. You understand the message has been sent and received. As those sensations resolve, you also feel a ping, a probe in your mind, as though asking for permission, or asking as though you need him to be close.
I mean, we're safe now, but if you'd like to come, I think we can arrange an audience. It might be a good idea.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna clear it with Jack first. I don't say that out loud. I'm saying that out of character.
You say that like in your mind, like telepathically, and there's the sensation of like a nod of agreement, of acquiescing to your judgment, and you hold the piece of antler. It does not disappear. He is not immediately summoned to you, but you know that you can call upon him just by willing it, and he will manifest.
Your Highness.
Jack continues walking away. His head swivels around to face you.
Do you think it would be beneficial if he came here? Not to the court inn, but maybe just kind of see what's going on with your kingdom?
Visit our kingdom. Not the pleasantries of court. Yes, I will guilt trip him. Old friend, he will see such disarray, and he will become sympathetic. Is anything like you? Yes, not here. Perhaps to the outskirts.
The outskirts, sounds good. When we get there, pause for a moment and I'll bring him.
He looks you over as though scrutinizing, realizing now that you have, probably not bluffing, the ability to summon his old friend. So, Jack nods very well and begins to lead you out of this hellhole. Are any of you lingering for any reason?
Nope.
Okay.
Hell no.
Nope.
Hell no! As soon as you pass through that darkened threshold, it is as though stepping out of a sweltering, muggy, uncomfortable, buggy den of terribleness and into a reasonably fresh breath of air. Harrowed Hills? Where in Harrowed Hills are we going? Harvest? That's the one. Create one, Jack. And you are led further and further away toward less darkened and less stormy environs, toward the outskirts of town. A much nicer part of town. More well-kept and less disarray. A number of troopers appear at the outskirts, carrying with them various bits and baubles, items, and trinkets, some of which look to be quite valuable, some of which look to be bric-a-brac. Among them is an elegant ivory harp with golden strings. There's also a very large book. Again, Karn is a falcon. Let's not do that. So, you guys have some time to walk and talk if you so choose. I'm going to have a quick sip of a drink if you want to do that.
Honestly, I think Bones needs a little bit of time to digest what the fuck they just saw. I doubt you'll get anything more coherent than it was a fucking eye.
Karn's mind is kind of processing, struggling under the weight of what they had just experienced. And he, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the Koboloi origin story involve them, like, coming through space or falling from some place that might echo in his mind as similar to that?
You check through your mind and you search for that information, and Rue is there with you. Despite metaphysically, essentially crying and hyperventilating and catching her breath, she begins to fill in what she remembers of the storm incident. In the temple.
It was called Noctis. It was a city, somewhere far away. Somewhere along the paths. Deep paths, I don't... It broke. It crumbled, it shattered. Something happened. It was sundered. And I don't know who he is, but someone saved us. They brought us to where you're from. Not here, but here.
There.
There. The place that isn't here. Home. They brought us to what we call home now. There's a man in the green cloak. With the blue blanket, I think. He used a big blue blanket to catch us while we fell. And then he dropped us off at home and then he disappeared. I think some of us came here looking for him.
Green cloak.
Yeah,
it dawns on Karn that those guys back in Amber Breeze had taken him for some kind of, what did they call him? Traveler? Wanderer?
Wanderer.
And they had made note of that green cloak. This one needs to have some conversations in Amber Breeze.
Yeah, go for it, big guy. I'm gonna be quiet for a bit. Call me if you need me. I gotta think.
The Rua is safe.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that anymore. What the hell is safe? What is anything? I'm gonna try to calm down. I'm sorry.
Danger.
Yeah. There's good folks around.
There are good people here.
Yeah. I mean, Kitty Cat's not gonna let anything bad happen to me. She'd kick your ass.
This one would not let anything bad happen to the Rua.
It helps to have, options. Fail-safes, redundancies.
Harumph.
Yeah, well, you harumph over there. I'm gonna fucking sulk over here, I guess. Go ask you questions. I need some background notes.
I am going to raise my head and look at the Master of Ceremonies.
He's not facing you, but his head does turn to meet you.
Does that one know of a traveler in a green cloak?
He makes this, bow at the chest and rolls his hand several times before gesturing to you. Friend of mine, that is an incredibly vague question to ask. There are many who have donned green cloaks and wander. Care to be more specific?
One with the power to save a people from a crumbling city and carry them to a new world.
That is powerful magic. Powerful magic indeed. Check my notes, 1 sec. He is going to study you for a few moments. And seeking, and reaching, and feeling the impetus from his carved eyes turn into slow squints when he inclines his head. You bear a similar mark, though. You hardly have that kind of power. I believe you refer to the Wanderer. A friend to the Harvest Domains. Or so he was, once upon a time. From what I understand, the Wanderer was a seeker of paths. A man of traveling, a fool among fools, of the very best kind. And wherever he walked, the dust of travel was the stories and laughter would follow. He was a disruptor. Kind-hearted, but the chaos, the festivity, all by being in the right place at the right time. Yes, we know of a Wanderer, the Wanderer. But we have not seen him in some many days, hours, years, eons. We have lost track. Among his favored domains. Occasionally, stop here. Sample the harvest splendor, the frights, the delights, the dancing, the flame. No, honestly, I believe you prefer down the breeze, as does everyone else. But, his favorite of many haunts was a quiet and cozy little slice of the Feywild domain known as Feywild. His favored creatures would gather there. They would sip of the fountain of knowledge provided by their patron host, Yarn Spinner. A delightful chap. A reader of books, a spinner of tales, a keeper of great knowledge. Lost knowledge. Forgotten things. It has been a time since we have communed with fatal eyes, choked off by the thorns that would seem a great loss. He glances toward you, Raven. A fate I should hope the glade is spared. Perhaps, with the aid of these new allies. But you have seen beyond the thorns, yes? You have seen beyond the thicket, perhaps? Perhaps if you find the path to fade and rise, perhaps you can pass through. Perhaps it does not get broken, perhaps it is not completely choked out. Here I am rambling. Was there more you wanted to know of this wanderer?
This one is seeking to help the Koboloi of this one's world.
Oh.
There is much of their history that remains lost to them.
This is a place for lost things. Things are lost here. You've seen things are lost in Europe as well. To find him, I believe, may be a fool's errand. But if you were to ask his favored domain, some information could be gleaned. This plight, their history, there's little I can offer. There are some older Koboloi of your plane, but many have forgotten themselves. This place has a tendency to do that.
But the Master of Ceremonies has shown kindness to the Koboloi.
The Master of Ceremonies is kind. And the Koboloi are small and cute. They are like little flames, and I, the stoker. So we like to think.
And when these flames flicker out, the Master of Ceremonies knows how to coax them back to some semblance of life. Yes.
A facsimile, perhaps, yes. Simply a shell for a wandering spirit to inhabit. It is a balm, but with sufficient power and influence and magic, a great many things can be accomplished.
How is this act accomplished?
He glances over to the troopers off to the edge of the group and kind of leans a little further than he should be able to look past you and at them. To produce a trooper? Not an insignificant feat. I do nothing insignificantly, but he sizes you up and looks you up and down and Taps his chin a little bit. I know not what limitations lie within the prime material plane. Magic flows freely, and within Harrowed Hills, my power is greatly more fluid. But perhaps with sufficient magic and skill, on your side, there may be some means to create a shell, perhaps something more substantial. He glances over his shoulder to look at Roar.
Roar's taking notes.
You bear the marks of creation, like your associate here. He looks toward Bones. Bards, painters, writers, creators, builders, tinkerers even. Rare and powerful potential. Rare gift among your kind. One that we like to stoke. The power and words of creation. They reside within you, part of your magic, part of your being. It is said when your celestial dragons first created all that is, it was by song. The bards were inheritors of a few short syllables of that power of creation. Perhaps the same can be said of artifice. Perhaps can be said of all magic for those creative enough. Your book, would you mind if I shared my notes?
Please.
He plucks the book from your hand, and his hands are huge. He's a big dude. Spindly, tall, and lengthy of finger. He takes your book and begins to jot down notes of what you can, looking over his shoulder, only describe as the mad ramblings of barely coherent magic. And yet as you study it, you see there is sense to be made. He begins to describe, and rapidly, his fingers blurring, jots down the basis for some form of ritual, some means of binding, a loose note of consciousness to some animated thing, to put a ghost inside of a machine, perhaps. All this in relative silence as the flames of his pumpkin head crackles.
I make some I nod and make some sounds of acknowledgement as I see what he's writing, and there are some curious remarks, or I just,
Trust the method. Trust the method. It may not make sense now, but the results! The results! Oh, the resounding things.
I nod.
I have seen results from using magic for things not intended. It's always interesting.
Wondrous and
Not
dangerous and
always.
frightening.
What was that, Karin?
In the background, it's like, not always.
I look over at Karin.
It wasn't interesting to you. I learned from it.
Learned it from you.
One can also learn from mistakes.
You're learning today.
Yes, and mistakes are interesting as well. I did not say everything that I did was wise or a success.
I raise my my hand that's marred.
I still have to replace this, but I learned something new. So, win-win.
As you mentioned replacing your arm, Jack kind of looks it over. You could use claws. Razor sharp, pointy claws. And continues to write.
Mm.
Some time passes.
I need better hands.
You mentioned that. You mentioned the hand and mentioned creating. And as he closes the book and holds his thumb in place to hold the page, hands it to you. If it is creation you're looking for, and kinfolk of your ilk, consider the eternal blacksmith. I believe you have come searching for one of his items, yes?
I have it.
Ah, yes. Stoneback is known to have a great many skills. No one is sure where he came from, but he is old, quite old, and quite wise. Jack stands at attention, and the items have been kind of gathered and brought and carefully set down in front of the group. As all this goes on, several minutes have passed since you have taken to resting by the entrance of this domain. What's everybody doing?
When we reach a point where it looks like we're stopping and prepping, then I will reach out to he.
Alright, reach out to the Autumn Prince. Do you attempt to summon him?
Yeah, why not? This should be fun.
Very good. So, you hold the antler close and you clutch it in your palm. You squeeze, and it shatters into motes of glowing gold sunlight, twilight even. These motes begin to twist and twirl and gather, manifesting, transforming into a roiling circle of leaves from which congeals the prince before you. At first, he has a countenance of grandeur and glory and weight and largeness to him. But as you perceive him, as he becomes real before you, his glow is diminished, and his stature, though no less tall and no less large, appears less to you as he touches down. Is there a particular square you want to put him on?
He's good where he's at. I might move myself kind of not in between, but adjacent to both.
Adjacent to both. As he appears, Jack does rest his hand on his hip, close to his pommel, but not on it. Stands a little straighter, kind of dusts his shoulder off. And he, as he appears, does not look entirely disheveled, but the transition is very clearly jarring to him. He gathers his bearings quickly and looks about him. I see we are within Harrod Hills. Your lordship. He bows, tucking his hand under his chest to deeply bow to Jack. He stands a little straighter. I'm to assume that have been welcomed within your abode. I would not want to trespass. You are always and have ever been welcome guest within my humble, derelict domain, old friend. And I shall cordially accept your most gracious invitation. I thank you. I must say I do adore what you've done to the place. Flashing as always. Bones, you do make up there is a very clear tension between these two.
Oh yeah, to be expected. I can't actually put myself equidistance to the two, so... But that's because of map limitations. There we go.
Here we go. I think if you hold shift, you can actually, like, do that. Yeah, there's a comfortable distance between the two, it would seem, as the party kind of gathers closer. Jack stands there, and he doesn't take his eyes off of the Autumn Prince. But you do get the impression that he is kind of, like, aware of your presence nearby. Not quite ignoring you like you might expect a lord to do.
Right, so we've got the harp returned.
As you say that, do you take the harp to bring it to him, or do you allow one of the troopers to do so?
I'll allow the troopers to do so.
You mention it, and Jack kind of signals with a finger. A pumpkin that is too small to carry this giant harp waddles it over, moves between Jack, and meanders ever closer to the Autumn Prince, chitters, and lifts it to meet him. Oh, what wonders. I had thought myself lost without this. I cannot thank you enough, Summer. Truly, this is a grand and wonderful gesture of yours. Jack loosens up his stance slightly. I presume I should perhaps, maybe, possibly, potentially, theoretically, apologize slightly. He takes the harp, and in his hands it begins to glow, just a golden, pale light within the ivory. I cannot presume to understand why you would send your merry little friends, your merry band, to relieve me of something of such importance. I must say I'm flummoxed. May I ask why? It was about you. You and all of those you protect. All of those you wine and dine and console.
But you don't console me.
A smidgen of jealousy, perhaps. But more importantly, he gestures toward his kingdom. I needed to bring you here, old friend. I needed you to see again, to witness the degradation. This is not isolated. This is the fate that befalls all of us. Friend, there is no degradation in Everbreeze. There is no degradation in Amberbreeze, no! But here, it encroaches. It consumes. It swallows. And the same will happen to your lands. I stole from you. Not out of petty jealousy, not for my subjects to return, but because I see you. I see the complacency. I see the lack of fire. You were the flame of inspiration. You were the bard of all bards. I wish to light a fire beneath your ass. I wish to get my friend back. Like old times. The Autumn Prince swallows. He swallows and looks down. And that road is not easy to change. I know in you there is sadness. But to do nothing is to condemn not only your people, but yourself, and everything else, to absolution, to oblivion. The Prince inclines his head. His eyes look downcast and dark. And there's still a tension between the two. As a silence heavy in the air sets in. Bones, you can feel just like this metaphysical pressure in the air and a coldness that just exudes from the Prince.
We went beyond the cordon. And we saw what is there. And it's fucking bad.
He looks toward you and looks down and nods his head, and you realize that he understands. Without an insight check, you know that he knows.
It's only by working together that we can save all of your lands.
If I may, Your Highness. Gabriel there and I couldn't even approach it. The closer we got, the more it hurt just to be in its presence. I'm quite surprised Bones there was able to get there and get back quite safely as she and hers did. But I can't imagine it spreading everywhere.
For so long, the cordon has held the roots, the vines, the thorns. They have been unmoving. In times of late, they have shifted. Paths have opened. I had thought this a benevolent moment. That we would see something new, great, and beautiful emerge. I thought it best to wait. Wait and hope and stoke inspiration in those who could make change. Was I wrong?
No, you've done that. But you both are, it appears, the closest kingdoms to each other, and some of the few that can actually communicate with each other. It would be wise to work together.
Jack says nothing but nods as you speak. The Autumn Prince inclines his head. And he turns his gaze to Gabriel. Little one, shield bearer, protector, speak and speak true, if I might ask you to do so. Have I fallen into complacency? Is it true? My old friend's claims. Have I not done enough?
You brought us here. That's a great deal. We're working on it, certainly. I just think that you both need to speak. Come up with a plan together to safeguard both your lands. Just in case we fail. Or if it takes longer than expected.
He looks aghast as you mention failure, as though such a concept had not crossed his mind. I see why you have put your faith in this one. She is a planner and a thinker, a doer. my power diminished as it is, I would ask that you do continue to invest into them. I would reach across my borders, shake hands with those subjects who have left, because this place is decrepit, and put aside my pride for a moment, at least until things are better. And I would ask you to please snap out of your malaise. It's unbefitting. You're too handsome. The Autumn Prince laughs. It's a sad laugh. He turns his gaze back to Bones, and there's a lingering pause as he kind of continues to watch Gabriel, but eventually shifts his gaze back to Bones. We should do what we must. Yes. Of course. I shall keep my eyes open and my ears ever wider. And not look away from the misfortunes elsewhere. Yes, so now that focusing upon my domain is not enough. If I'm to hold court and make merry with the other ladies of the other lords, then more must be done. Yes. Yes, more will be done. Jack gestures toward the group of troopers behind him and lifts a hand, and with their items that they have stolen, they begin to tromp off toward the direction that you guys had come from. This is more than I'd asked for. This is desperate times and desperate measures, we suppose, but we do apologize. We will return the things and we look forward to further collaboration. And as a trooper stands out the way, standing beside you, Bones, Jack moves forward and approaches the Autumn Prince and takes another step forward to get closer to him. Lifts up a long-fingered hand to shake, and the two grasp hands. Jack then jostles the Autumn Prince and pulls him in quite close, placing a hand upon his back, and finally releases him. Very well, it is decided. I approve of your chosen champions. They do seem to be canny. They do seem to be skilled. I have faith that you have chosen well. I shall be checking in, reporting to you what ailments are new and interesting within my domain. I shall offer aid in what ways I can. I thank you. You are ever a pragmatic host. Jack nods. But of course, I am the master of ceremonies. I am all the things. Pragmatic is one of them. He steps back. Turns his attention to you, Bones, and reaches to his hip. He does not pull the pommel of the rapier, but reaches to a satchel, a small bag, which he hands to you. I suspect that your time here is coming close to an end. I would ask of you to take this as part of our agreement.
Oh, and I'll take it.
He hands you a bag of loose something. You peer inside and you see there are a fistful of pumpkin seeds.
Oh, I'm sure our farmers will love these.
He inclines his head. They are fertile, they are strong, and they will grow. And when you have this holiday, I would ask of you perhaps to teach those among your city, your town, your people, to carve them in my likeness. As close as you can manage, I know you folks are imperfect creatures and limited to what your skills can provide, but I'm sure you will try very much to get the good side of my face.
While I've not been able to show you, I can promise you I'm very good with a knife.
Somehow, I don't doubt you. Right, I believe this. You first.
Oh, I was going to say, to that end, you said that there was a festival, an occurrence in your honor previously.
Oh, yes, then. It's such a distant memory. I'm certain neither half has it.
Well, can you at least let me know of what you recall? Because it will help to bring back the traditions.
It was an evening of frights. Frights and delights. Of tricks. Playful things. Minor inconveniences. Of scares. But also light. Oh, such glorious light, flickering candles, bonfires, embers, cinders. Oh, the burning of the fields to provide the new fields. Sweets. Masks. Dancing and drinking. And the celebration of life. The conquering of fear.
I feel we can cobble something together based off of that. And if we find your other half, I'll get more details then.
Send him my way if you can. And while you are cobbling together ideas, feel free to return and cobble together these roads, and those walls, and those gates. Our creator, you are welcome here.
Maybe sometime. I have a few dwarves. I know a family of dwarves who would, like a challenge.
Perhaps something can be arranged then. For now, these events, they do seem like fair grounds for, I don't know, a celebration ceremony, something along those lines. Yes? Hmm?
That seems fair.
Yes, fair, fair indeed. Claps his hands. I will be getting to work. When next you arrive, it will be a grand celebration. For now, he looks toward the Autumn Prince. Rumor has it you had intended for some ceremonies of your own. I will leave you to it. I promise to bother you no more. My days of interfering are done for now. Most gracious of you, Master of Ceremonies. Most kind of you to heed the call, old friend. It's nice to see you too, friend. Jack moves in once more. Takes the other prince's hand, cups it with his other, and bows his head. Until next time, do not be a stranger. It leads to misunderstandings. And he begins to walk. Snaps his fingers. Troopers, assemble! What's left of you? Oh, most of you are gone. Well, I'm walking alone, it would seem. As he begins to traipse and dance and bounce and lope toward his kingdom.
And we follow, I assume.
So, as you go to follow, as you move to follow, the Autumn Prince, he holds his harp close. I do believe he was serious about the lack of time. While I have granted and allowed you to enjoy the power I have fear for you and yours to stay much longer. I will not be able to make good on my statements. I would ask of you, if there's any business you have left here, perhaps now is best to wrap it up.
I think so. Just to return these items to their owners. I think we promised that.
Very well. I shall bring you back to Amber Breeze with haste, and I shall send you home. The Autumn Prince begins to move opposite of Jack, and with a snap of his fingers and a wiggling of his hands, he strings the harp, and a carriage of light and red leaves appears. You have a moment of quietude among the universe as a chariot is summoned.
Raven clears his throat. That was some impressive talking and getting them to talk, I must say. I quite expected a show of the most violent kind.
Gods know, I try to get people to see eye to eye without violence as much as possible.
Well, for all that it's worth, I didn't expect y'all would stick around too long, but if you do have the time, I would bring you to my lady. I have deemed that you and yours, quiet as they are, have you as a very strong leader, a good mouthpiece, able to bring two disparate brothers in arms and friends together as such. Your power of the tongue continues to amaze me. Your power above and beyond what I thought I knew. I think you could be of some assistance to my lady's plight. Again, it is not mine to share, but after all of this, it might be something you're quite interested in. Now, I don't take me lightly. Now, this is a very serious matter, a very serious thing that I'm taking to see her. That is, if you are so inclined. All around, still, you already have a lot on your plate.
I'm inclined, but we're on literally borrowed time. The only reason we were able to make this work is because the Autumn Prince was generous enough to lend us his. We have about 6 hours before we have to make deals with devils.
Deals with devils.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a devil fight right now, actually. Well, we finished just killing a lich, but...
You see one of Raven's bushy brows lift, and again, you continue to amaze and surprise. Well, I don't expect that all the live. Well, it may. But again, all I humbly ask of you and yours is to hear out my lady. You can determine what happens afterwards.
Right. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how much time is that going to take to get there.
How much time is it going to take to get there, DM?
In the presence of an archfey, more or less instantaneous.
With the chariot there, we could get there quite quickly indeed. All this walking and traveling, we would basically skip all of that good stuff. My lady perhaps should be as strong as these two, but circumstances, well, again, there's a reason I'm looking for someone on her behalf.
Alright, then at least we can hear her out.
That is indeed all I can ask for. Your Highness. Actually, is he still there?
He's within earshot.
Alright. Your Highness, if it so
Suits you?
suits you, I would take this company to my lady and her domain. For she has a predicament you may or may not be aware of, that I would have this mighty group here. I assure you, it will not take long.
He looks upon you and his eyes darken for a moment. Before he slowly nods. We are well aware of the plights of Robin. I would assume yes, this makes sense. I can deliver you there with great haste.
I think you do me a tremendous favor.
With that, the Autumn Prince takes the seat at the head of this coach, and the door upon the side opens.
All right, group of change bringers, if you will. And he motions to the carriage before getting on or in himself.
So, as you guys gather into the carriage of light and leaves, we can call it here, or if you want to continue, we've got maybe, without pulling the veil back too far, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes left to resolve loose ends.
I'm good to keep playing. I just have logistic questions, like, are we leaving to go to the Robin's Court and then coming back? Or should we finish our shit in Amber Breeze before going to...
Up to you. If you wanna, if you would like to meet with Robin and hear what she has to say, and then go to Amber Breeze, you may. If you want to go to Amber Bruce first and then go to Robin's Court, you can do that too. You essentially, in the company of the Autumn Prince, will be able to get to places instantaneously.
Okay. Let's go to see what Robin wants first, because it seems like that's kind of where we're already on. And then from there, come back and finish strong.
Does anyone object?
I don't. I'm good to keep going.
All right, so we're going to play a little bit late tonight. Sorry we didn't have a break, but we're moving.
On you. I was saying that sounds good, but I'm also kind of crashing, so I can't guarantee how involved I'm going to be.
Okay. Would folks prefer to pick up a night? I mean, I'm good for Saturday or Sunday. Monday, all bets are off.
Sunday, I have game. Saturday, I don't know how tomorrow's going to go because it's the Balloon Festival and Liam wants to go.
Balloon Festival.
Yeah, I was just kind of asked if I wanted to do Baldur's Gate with some friends on Saturday.
All right, so it's just a question of maintaining momentum. If you guys want to push it to, 2 weeks from now to wrap up loose ends, or if you want to continue through tonight. We've got 2 yays. We've got I'm going to pass out.
My only thing is I open tomorrow. So.
Yeah, you open tomorrow, so if...
In that case, 2 weeks from now, the wrap up those ends and get out of here, assuming.
Yeah, I mean, if folks are cool with that, the next game may be a little fluffy, maybe a little short, but I'm sure you guys will find ways to pad time.
There won't be any time crunching in the background.
There won't be any time crunching, and I'm going to say DM to players, though the Autumn Prince has mentioned that it's time to go, you will have time to take your time with it. It's just a matter of, hanging out and waiting for Jack to set up a whole celebration is going to be a whole ass thing.
This is less last call and more, hey, last call is happening soon.
Yeah.
2 minute warning.
Not even, like an hour, half hour. All right, then.
Okay.
With such uncertainty up in the air, with Mitch kind of flagging on us and with Alicia having to work open tomorrow, I would not wish midnight to opening on anybody. So I'm going to call it here. And who knows, if a day opens up before then, that's cool. If Goblin Game for whatever reason has to get postponed, I'll take Friday. Or what have you. I'm flexible and I have a flex.
Tonight was the night of flexes, not all of them in the right direction.
Sorry, not sorry.